Hey everybody, Mike here with your weekly fishing report. Alex is out today sick, so we hope he does better. So we have a lot of stuff going on fishing-wise, going on right now, and a lot of stuff to come that I wanted to talk about. So first, kind of talking about what's been happening right now. We got a lot of people pickerel fishing right now, mostly using minnows, spinners, paddle baits kind of like this, rigged weedless are working really well as well. You're gonna find them mostly in the creeks, around structure, things like that. You're also gonna find a good mix of yellow perch and white perch, and kind of as we roll on into January and February, we get a little closer and closer to these perch runs. The yellow perch are gonna start staging higher up in the creeks. For the yellow perch, I like using a lot of different things. My main go-to rigs are little shad dart rigs and spoon rigs, and the spoon rig here with a tipped off with a minnow is probably my favorite winter fishing rig for the creeks and rivers. So this is great for pickerel, great for perch. The advantage of using a spoon with a minnow is you can get a ton of action off the minnow with very little action off your rod. So I barely have to move my bait to get a ton of action, and those fish that are really moving slower because it is cold are going to have a better chance of getting to the bait and actually taking it. So love those rigs. Rig tandem too with a shad dart is great on that as well. As far as some of the artificial stuff, so we went over some of the smaller paddle tails. They work great for pickerel. Your 3-inch size or 3.5-inch size will also be great for perch. We used these pretty recently, these little vertico minnows with a small 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce jig head work really well for that kind of stuff too. So other stuff that's happening right now is this is the great time of year to start trout fishing. So they do trout stocking all over Maryland, and there's actually a list you can check and kind of see where they've been putting these trout. But winter trout fishing is one of the more fun fisheries out there, and there's a ton of different stuff you can use. So here I've got like an assortment of power bait and gulp power bait, so these little nuggets, and this is their brand new gold vein on a little treble hook or single salmon hook under a bobber. Works great. We also have the gulp fish fries in 2-inch and little curltail minnows. These are honestly good. They're great for trout fishing on just a tiny little jig head under a bobber or rig by themselves. They're also great perch lures, so this is kind of, again, one of those, like, you could take it out white perch, yellow perch, you could do the trout thing. Mummy worms. They're just little mealworms that have been dehydrated, and you can keep them in your tackle box. They work great. Same thing with things like the fake grass shrimp and trout eggs. So those are all going to be cool, nice things you can just put in your tackle box, go to any of these trout streams, or hit the creeks and do some perch fishing and really do well with those things. A couple other things happening for those of you doing catch and release striped bass fishing. Still running well in the bay here. You know, fish anywhere from 20 to 30 something inches depending on where you are. Most people are just jigging those with any 5 to 7-inch jerk shads, 1/2 ounce to 1.5 ounce jig heads depending on depth there. We've also heard offshore off Ocean City there's been a good school of rockfish moving south, and just heard that they're kind of heading more toward Assateague. So for those of you really looking to trophy hunt and try and get a big fish in the boat, that's probably going to be your best opportunity right now. So really right now we're looking for things to warm up and look for that perch bite to continue to just get better and better as we get closer into January and through February. So hopefully we'll check you guys out next week. Thank you all for tuning in.